Possibly an engineer Mahama in command of pay. Now engineer thoughts on Ura Amakwanta. The comment I will make it about the reintroduction of our tools. I will my way say as well. Engineer, it's good to have you on the show and opinion. I'm to say.
Yes, sir. You're ready to move on.
But your comments be on my 40% or day, and my 45 comments.
Say it.
I can't
say it on my behalf.
I can't say it on your behalf.
Why can't
Please
you
say it. I didn't hear it well.
You didn't hear it well.
Well, I heard something.
Then I didn't say anything.
Engineer. An engineer. Into us, why? Into us. So on Kadia, Miss Min Kamano.
I said we missed him. And then I want to make an okay, you have it.
Yes.
Well, I have.
Remove yourself.
I have.
So just say it well.
I've missed him.
Yes, engineer.
Yes.
About son or say she's missed you.
Many jiggy.
What's one year, Joe?
The meaning is saying.
And all the better if you are. Now, say, quite invite you for any internal studio discussions. Via Zoom.
Me punishment to no one.
Via Zoom. Maybe you can't just walk me that. And see our conversation you have via Zoom.
Hey, where do you grow?
Look over the Uncle Corner. Engineer, Minister Abekachre said two boots were more at the back. There are. Would I be fair to say that there are two contradicting positions on the reintroduction of rotors? Bako, you catch us a PPP arrangements. Sisi our minister ne catch us say sisi our buying and the rotor eba bima they will charge us more. My major reaction.
Match out with you for. You know, it's an shooting our studio. And the very fine because my district it also can make some more response.
Young quiet.
The first call I made, you know, it was my good news. I mean, just to cry. I don't know whether. I was say, Mama, Prophet Engineer Abdulai Mahama. I think that's the name that I'm forcing you to start to call me.
You are Prophet.
You are now call me Twitter handle. No, I share. A number of times me casa about two boots, you know. And a number of times me call almost all these media houses, Kesben, yourself, Joy. I just screenshot two of them. Come and send them out. Said bring the tool back. It is not an act of illegality. It's not reasonable to have insufficient funds to the contractors for even maintenance of our roads, and then you actually abruptly cancel or suspend a legitimate tax or levy regime when you didn't even do the right thing prior to after the announcement at the Parliament by the Minister of Finance. And then I think somewhere in August, I opposed to the Road Safety Commission more or less supporting the decommissioning of the tool to use it for urina. Mfanye bia odu awashum na obi akopake omotos no akọ easy no ho hono. And all these things, you know, as a opinion for ni bi no, say ministers in kasa, then it's sacrosanct. I have vehemently opposed to the cancellation. And so even though Minister Nesade Babak, I mean, it's part of what they are debating in Parliament. They owe the lot of Ghanaians or the whole country an apology for that hasty decision that they took. There was a census, or there was some Sobia, one of the stations, a year, Oman taking the critical, but we are just at a glance. They interviewed over 500 plus drivers. About 6 months ago or 7 months ago, about 90% of the drivers said they wanted the toll reinstated, and then government should even increase it. I was amazed that Ghanaians are, in touch with reality across the globe. Most of the drivers who were interviewed were like, bring it back and increase it. About 10% maintained that, bring it back, however, just maintain the fee. So it was a unanimous decision by the drivers or the motorists who said that it was an unpopular decision. Realistically, we needed money. And it was not at the time now And I've stated on your station, say, we're the least pay toll in the world. The least. No wonder we cannot maintain our roads. No wonder we cannot get contractors money to continue with their work. The third one is, if you tell Ghanaians that the company which has been assigned to take the toll on behalf of government are giving you, the proceeds, they are actually giving you proceeds less than bare 60 or 40%. Which entity? Say, if the business belongs to you, an individual. That's when the Isaac said, okay, Isaac, this is what I want you to do for me. Collect the tools and let me give it to me, and let me give you your percentage. Then if I'm able to establish, say, like the minister said about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I think I had a debate with him on Joy FM. Say, the people who are giving, have been contracted to take the toll are under, declaring the proceeds at the end of the year or the month. Why would you allow about 40% to 50% of your proceeds to sink in someone's pocket, and then you share the 50% which is left? No wonder we had a problem. So for me, it's a welcoming thing. But they should just be sober and humble and tell Ghanaians that you goofed big time. Because in fact, when the budget was passed last year, the Minister of Finance didn't say it should take immediate effect. It was supposed to be debated as part of the budget, and when approved now, then it will become operational. But the next dawn, at around midnight, after the budget was read, somewhere in November, the next morning, it took effect. And our brothers and sisters, the physically challenged, who were promised that they were going to be assigned to other areas and be given some monthly salary, are still at the mercy of government on a bad policy or a bad implementation. That is not acceptable. And when I'm done, I'll send you the links, and you see how many times I tweeted, I moved on Facebook, and the links of almost all the media when I said the toll will come back if that was early. See, at the end of the next budget, which they have just almost passed, the toll would come back. If not this regime, the next regime. But I said that in the immediate future, like a year or two, the tolls, because it was not making any sense at all to us. The road construction now is very, very expensive. Extremely expensive. Not because the contractors have decided to exaggerate the prices, but hiring even a dozer a day is in the region of 9,000 Ghana cedis. Now, dozer per day, D8. And if you have to put 205 liters of fuel, diesel, into one dozer for just to work within 8 hours, and that will consume the 8 hours diesel. Just imagine the cost of, that's about, let's say, even 20 cities, or let's say 18 cities, times 205 per drum for one machine. Right, and multiply the number of machines you're having on the road. So government needs the money, but legitimately it just abrogated it so that they could have been popular with the e-levy, and that also splashed in their face.
Engineer,
but that was what I thought.
There's a question I'm basically bisa all the industry anymore. Tobusi will come once a year. The intent is the immediate air routes before and after the tobusi in your day air scanner. Was that money being used to fix those roads with the tolls on them? I'm referencing, for instance, Malam. I'm referencing the first major toll booths, Kumasia, Ufrakra, Kumasia. The very bad nature of that road. Just immediately before the toll booth and after the toll booth. Kaswa, the same thing. Maybe those who are in areas where there are toll booths, the deplorable nature of the roads immediately before and after the toll booth, even motorway. So, was that money being used to fix these roads that the toll was being collected for?
Okay. Like I said earlier, the monies that were taken was not solely to address the issue at the said location, but it's so important. Say, if I'm paying a toll like at Junction A, I should see that Junction A is well developed. Yes. So you have a point. But the money is supposed to be used for maintenance of the whole country's roads. And unfortunately, the money is woefully inadequate to even maintain like Accra to Takoradi, Accra to Aflawo Road, only for the whole year. the money they are realizing about 78 million Ghana cedis. I'm told that. I think last year that was the money that the government was saying they was realizing at the end of the year. 78 million Ghana cedis. So that 70 million Ghana cedis cannot even cater for the weeding of all the trunk roads in the country, the weeding along the place, and then actually desilting, removing the silt that is actually depositing on the road, doing some marking, like road sign markings, which falls under the routine maintenance category, and then to get all this things sorted out. So I am thinking, say, what has changed? If we were told that the concerns were that there was so much congestion at the places, there was so much traffic and whatever, and that's the reason why, in fact, one of the cardinal points why it was suspended. Now, if it's going to come early next year after the budget is passed, have we expanded the junctions? If you look at Ayimensa, if you look at Dodua, they are lotto kiosks. They are just temporary shed, lotto kiosk starter, the same size of a lotto kiosk, and that was being used for the toll. Dodua is the same. That's why I can't be running into the Dodua. No, it could be motor in the cross. One of the disabled. So, are we going to say now that we are bringing it back? No, suddenly, no, the wager traffic had been catered for, the congestion there. Those who are selling there have been warded off the place. Because I told the Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways on one of the stations, one-on-one, say, how can the Amasaman stretch with the most popular, the road which is most populated in terms of traffic is the Amasaman Road. Interestingly, no, when you are getting to go closer to the toll booth, there's no traffic. Why? Because that's one of the most properly designed toll you can mention in Ghana. There's a 5-lane opened, and then about 1 kilometer before you actually taper into the 2-lane again. From the 5-lane now to so before somebody will finish paying and move on, you have a longer duration to be able to speed, to be ahead of the other vehicles, to be able to now slip into the 2 carriageway which is going ahead. But frankly, thankfully, no. That's sadly those things have not been done. I mentioned there's no expansion there. Dodua Afienya, there's no expansion there. Kaswa Waje, there's no expansion there. Afienya Shama Road, there's no expansion there. So let's see how drastically government will bring in the to and then expand the because I threw a challenge to them, say, even me with a few engineers we have, if government does as that was last year, no, or they should make available funds for the expansion and see whether one will do that design. There will be any congestion or traffic at the set locations. Right. The people who are selling, if we will bring it back. Those who are selling bull fruit, achomo, yogurt, poki, whatever it is there, no, the bread, if whatever they are selling there, if they are still there, they will still impede on the smooth flow of traffic, and that becomes another headache for already queuing to pay the toll. And immediately after you finish paying the toll, no, somebody is selling bread at the place, somebody is selling yogurt at the place. We have to ward off the place so that we can have effects of the toll coming back. But for the increment, I subscribe to 100%. But after that, we have open declaration of the money we are getting and how it's being judiciously used. I thank you on that.
Engineer Meadows and Oje Medani Dinkomo live on the Happy Morning Show.